Elizabeth, at 36, was a single mother who lived with an unshakable purpose: to give her 12-year-old daughter, Anna, the very best she had to offer. Life had never been easy, but that didn't stop her from creating an environment where love was the foundation of everything. She worked tirelessly at 2 jobs, stretching every penny to put food on the table, pay the bills, and somehow keep small moments of joy alive in their daily lives. Despite her exhausting routine, Elizabeth always prioritized Anna. Her evenings were devoted to helping her with homework, telling bedtime stories, and listening to her dreams. She wanted Anna to grow up knowing that even in the face of adversity, love was stronger than any obstacle. Their bond was deep, built through laughter, hugs, and words of encouragement. But in recent months, Elizabeth had been feeling increasingly weak. The exhaustion, which she once thought was just the natural consequence of overwork, began to turn into something more concerning. She experienced chest pains and a constant shortness of breath. Anna's radiant smile was her greatest motivation to keep going, but the signs that something was seriously wrong became impossible to ignore. Eventually, Elizabeth sought medical attention. When the tests were complete, the news hit like a devastating blow. She had a serious heart condition that required urgent surgery to save her life. The cost was astronomical, far beyond anything she could ever afford. The pain of the diagnosis wasn't just about the severity of her condition but also the fear of leaving Anna alone in the world. Back at home, Elizabeth tried to keep her composure, but she knew she would have to tell her daughter. How could she explain to Anna, her 12-year-old girl, that her mother, the person who had always been there to protect her, now needed help to stay alive? Silent tears fell as she wondered how she would face this new battle without breaking the heart of the daughter she loved so much. Elizabeth spent sleepless nights, the thought of the surgery's cost gnawing at her strength. Even if she worked 3 jobs or sold everything she owned, the amount was still unattainable. Her anguish wasn't just about her own life but about Anna's future. What would become of her daughter, her reason for living, if she was no longer there to protect her? After much hesitation, Elizabeth realized she couldn't hide the truth from Anna. They sat at the small kitchen table, and Elizabeth held her daughter's hands tightly, trying to convey a courage she didn't feel. With a trembling voice, she explained the diagnosis, the gravity of the situation, and the impossibility of paying for the surgery. Each word felt heavier than the last, and tears escaped before she could stop them. Anna listened in silence, her usually bright face now frozen in shock. Her mother, the woman who always made her believe anything was possible, was now vulnerable. Seeing Elizabeth, her rock, crying sparked something inside her. The initial sadness was replaced by a determination she didn't yet fully understand but knew she needed to act on. That night, Anna stayed awake, her mind racing with ideas. She didn't have much to offer, but she knew that every toy, every piece of clothing, every sentimental object she owned could be used to try to save her mother. The decision was made. No matter how much it hurt to let go of the things she loved, nothing was more important than saving Elizabeth. Anna knew it wouldn't be easy, but at that moment, the 12-year-old found a strength within herself that only true love can awaken. If her mother had spent her life fighting for her, now it was Anna's turn to fight for Elizabeth. All she needed was a plan. Elizabeth fell asleep early that night, exhausted from work and worried about the future. As the silence settled over the house, Anna lay awake, her mind buzzing with ideas. The 12-year-old girl, who until then had seen the world through the innocence of childhood, now faced a harsh reality. But amid all the uncertainty, she knew one thing: she would do anything to save her mother. Careful not to make any noise, Anna began going through her small bedroom. The space was simple, but every corner held a piece of her story. She picked up her favorite doll, the one Elizabeth had bought for Christmas with so much effort. She set aside her games, which still echoed with the laughter of afternoons spent with friends. Even her most cherished clothes were carefully folded and set aside. Each item carried a special memory, but none was more important than Elizabeth. As she placed everything in a neat pile, she felt the weight of her decision. She knew it meant giving up a part of her childhood, but at the same time, she felt something new, a purpose. If this can save my mom, it's worth it, she thought. The next morning, as the sun began to light up the house, Anna placed her belongings on the kitchen table. When Elizabeth woke up, still groggy, she was greeted by her daughter, waiting anxiously to speak. With a steady voice, Anna explained her plan. She would raffle off all her possessions. Every toy, every piece of clothing would be sold to raise the money her mother needed to survive. Elizabeth was stunned, looking into her daughter's eyes. Tears welled up instantly, and she felt her chest tighten with emotion. In that moment, it was as if the little girl she had raised with so much love was showing the strong, determined woman she was becoming. Elizabeth tried to protest, saying Anna didn't need to sacrifice her belongings, but as she looked at her daughter's face, she saw something unyielding. There was a spark of determination, a strength that reflected everything Elizabeth had always tried to teach, that true love can move mountains. She had no choice but to accept, even with a heavy heart. At that moment, both understood that together they could face any challenge. Anna's courage reignited the hope Elizabeth thought she had lost, and from that day forward, the two embarked on a journey that would change not only their lives but the lives of many others. Anna began her mission with small but determined steps. Carrying a bag filled with her toys and clothes, she went door to door in the modest neighborhood where they lived. With a shy smile and a racing heart, she explained her cause to each person who answered. Some bought tickets, moved by the girl's bravery, but most only offered words of encouragement. Despite all her efforts, the goal seemed unattainable. As Anna continued her journey, her story reached the ears of Clara, a close friend of Elizabeth's. Clara had always admired Elizabeth's strength and, seeing what Anna was doing, felt she had to help. She knew the world needed to hear this story of love and sacrifice. That's when Clara had an idea, to create a social media channel. With a phone in hand and a heart full of hope, she asked Anna to record a video. Shy at first, Anna sat in front of the camera. With tear-filled eyes, she spoke about her mother, what Elizabeth meant to her, and how she was willing to do anything to save her. "My mom is the most amazing person I know," Anna said, her voice trembling. "She's always been there for me. Now it's my turn to be there for her." Clara posted the video, not imagining the impact it would have. Anna's story quickly began to spread, touching hearts everywhere. People shared the video, commenting on the pure love and courage of the girl. Within hours, the number of views skyrocketed. What began as a small neighborhood effort was now reaching the world. Donations started pouring in. Some gave small amounts, while others contributed significant sums. Business owners, celebrities, and even people who didn't have much but felt moved by the story made sure to help. Anna's love inspired a wave of generosity. Before long, Anna wasn't alone. Strangers sent messages of support, offering help in every way possible. The amount raised grew day by day, turning the initial despair into a hope Elizabeth and Anna could never have imagined. Clara's gesture, combined with Anna's determination, showed that kindness can still change lives. In no time, the small campaign of a 12-year-old girl became a symbol of love and resilience, proving that even in the darkest moments, light can come from the most unexpected places. Anna and Elizabeth's story grew beyond anything anyone could have predicted. The video shared on social media continued to spread, reaching millions. Celebrities began commenting, moved by the bravery and love of a 12-year-old girl. Business owners, touched by the sincerity of the campaign, donated large sums. And everyday people, often facing their own struggles, found inspiration in Anna's story to believe in human kindness again. Soon, Anna was invited to appear on television shows and online interviews. Always with the same humility and sincerity, she spoke about the love she had for her mom and the reason behind her campaign. "My mom is my hero," she said, her eyes shining. "All I want is to see her healthy again." Her honesty and purity captivated everyone who heard her story. The days became a mix of hope and surprise. Every morning, Elizabeth and Anna were updated about new donations. Messages of support arrived from all over, with people sharing their own stories of struggle and triumph. In less than 2 weeks, the amount raised exceeded what was needed for Elizabeth's surgery. But the campaign's impact went beyond the money. Anna's strength made many reflect on their own lives. It was impossible to hear the story without asking, "What can I do to help someone in need?" The campaign of a young girl, which began with a simple gesture of selling her toys, turned into a global movement of solidarity and inspiration. Elizabeth, overwhelmed with emotion, watched everything with tears in her eyes. Seeing her daughter not only fighting for her life but also touching the hearts of so many people was something she could never have imagined. Meanwhile, Anna remained focused on her goal. Despite all the attention, her only concern was ensuring her mom could have the surgery. Amid all the emotion, one thing became clear: Anna's courage had shown the world that pure and genuine love can unite people from all walks of life, transforming lives and sparking kindness where there had only been darkness. The day of Elizabeth's surgery arrived, surrounded by a wave of hope and emotion. Anna held her mother's hand tightly as the doctors took her to the operating room. Despite the fear, there was a certainty in both their hearts: all the effort, all the struggles had led them here, and the love they shared was greater than any adversity. Hours later, the surgeon came out with a calm smile on his face. "The surgery was a success," he said, and his words echoed like music in Anna's ears. Tears of relief streamed down her face. Her mother was alive, and for the first time in weeks, she allowed herself to breathe without the weight of despair. Elizabeth recovered quickly. Each passing day, she felt stronger, healthier, and infinitely grateful. She could now dedicate her time and energy again to Anna, her greatest reason for living. "You saved my life, my love," she said, holding her daughter tightly. However, both Elizabeth and Anna knew their story couldn't end there. What began as a desperate fight to save a life now had the potential to change countless others. With the money left over, they made a decision: to create a fund to help people facing the same dilemma, lives that could be saved but were held back by financial barriers. The fund was named Love That Transforms, a tribute to the unbreakable bond between mother and daughter and the wave of kindness that had emerged. The initiative quickly began funding surgeries for people who couldn't afford them. Each life saved was a reminder of what Elizabeth and Anna had endured and overcome. Elizabeth started visiting hospitals, offering words of encouragement to other families. Anna, with her youthful spirit and determination, actively participated in fundraising campaigns, inspiring other children to make a difference in their communities. Their story, which had already touched the world, continued to spread hope and love. More than a successful surgery, what Anna and Elizabeth achieved was a victory over despair. They turned pain into purpose, suffering into hope, and showed that with love, truth, and solidarity, miracles are possible. Justice had been served, and a cycle of kindness had begun, proving that no struggle is in vain when love lights the way. With her health restored and peace finally reigning, Elizabeth and Anna returned to their routine, but their lives would never be the same. Their small home, still modest, now seemed illuminated by something greater: the gratitude and purpose born from such a difficult fight. The bond between mother and daughter, already unbreakable, had grown even stronger. Anna, with her simplicity and courage, became an example to everyone. Her story inspired children and adults to see the world differently, believing in the transformative power of kindness. At school, she was seen as a hero; in neighboring communities, as a source of inspiration. People who had never met her now knew her name, her story, and the impact of her determination. Elizabeth, on the other hand, couldn't hold back tears every time she thought about what Anna had done. "I was given a second chance at life because of my daughter's pure heart," she said with emotion. Her love saved me, and now we will save others. The Love That Transforms fund remained active, growing thanks to contributions from people inspired by Anna's campaign. Each new story of a life saved was a reminder of what Elizabeth and Anna had achieved together.